Going through perimenopause and menopause, can't figure out why you can't build muscle? Watch this.
Our next caller is EJ from Illinois.
EJ, how you doing? By the way, I think we might have the wrong question up there, Doug. You're EJ and you're almost 52 years old. Is that correct?
Yes.
Wow. What in the hell are you doing?
Yeah.
I think that it's some good genes probably and good living. Not perfect. No injections, but just trying, just doing the best I can.
Okay. Well,
you're winning.
I never met anybody who looked 20 years younger than their age. So, all right. So what's your question?
Yeah. Now that we're done flirting, what's your question?
Yeah.
I'm kind of doing this on behalf of so many people like me that I'm working with right now. So like you said, I'm almost 52. I'm metabolically healthy. I weigh about 114, 115, 5'2". I am a health coach, so I kind of do things fairly right. I did lose a lot of my fitness level, though, from about 46 to 51 because I felt so fragile. Perimenopause just ate me alive. And in that time, I just couldn't do what I used to do. And I had to kind of get used to a new version of myself. I've been slowly building back my fitness in the last year, and I do feel somewhat better. But my sleep is still elusive and I do all that crap right too. And it's still tough just with perimenopause and hormones. That said, my recovery always stinks as well because of my sleep situation. And I actually am one of those people that works out like I like myself, not like I'm punishing myself. I started with MAPS performance, and I really like the mobility part of it, but shifted into MAPS 15 advanced because my kids keep me busy and I just needed to compress the time. I do other mobility work too, but my question is pretty simple. At my age, and for women like me who can't even work out around their cycles because we don't know when the hell they are at this rate, can we really build muscle? What is possible for me at this stage?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Well, so if I'm talking to a woman who's 52 who just started working out, recently or within the last couple of years, the potential to build muscle is huge. Now,
unchanged muscle, right? I've been working out since I was 25 and I was super fit and not anymore.
Yeah. So, I'm going to disagree with you because you look super, you're the most fit looking 52-year-old I've ever met. But because you've been working out for so long, you're going to be working a lot with things like muscle memory. Now, you might be able to gain some of the muscle back that you might have lost. It sounds like you said you might have lost some muscle, but to perform and build beyond what you've done in the past might be kind of tough because you've been doing this for so long. Yeah. And this is tough, EJ, because I find myself in this position as well. I know the guys do as well. We're about 10 years younger than you, but we've been working out for a long time. And, am I going to hit new levels that I've never hit before, over the next 10 years? Probably not. However, a more fair comparison would be if you were to compare, and I don't recommend this, but look at your peers. You're light years different from other women in your age group in terms of fitness, appearance, health, and that kind of stuff. So the game now is less about hitting new goals and records and more about maintaining, more about trying to keep your fitness. Now, that's not to say we can't.
That's what I lost, though, because maintaining where I am now is a struggle. If I could get back to where I was 5 years ago, is that a pipe dream?
No, I
realize I can't get,
it's possible, but I do want to say this of when I think back of all the challenges I had with different types of clients, for sure, like a client that is going through or gone through menopause is one of the most difficult times for me to help her build muscle. It's just you have to be at one of the greatest disadvantages of progressing the physique. So the thing that I'd have to communicate is and remind my clients that we're going through this is to have compassion for yourself, especially someone like you who has, if you think this is not very fit, I imagine you looked crazy in your 30s or 20s. So you got to get that out of your head of comparing yourself.
And I've tried to de-identify with it and let it go. And that's why I'm here, because I thought I have to figure out.
But it doesn't mean that you can't get a lot of that. I do believe you can.
Yeah, because that muscle memory is real.
Yeah.
And you've been training for so long, you've probably experienced a great deal of muscle hyperplasia. You know, studies on people like you, people who've been working out for a long time. First off, the amount of volume and training that's required to keep what you've built is really small. And the amount of training that is required to get back, if you did lose anything, is also very small. So this is going to be a game of what's the appropriate dose? How do I manipulate my training properly?
And dialing in nutrition.
Yes.
Yeah. I love that she's on MAPS 15. I love that.
I think MAPS 15 is great for you. I would like to see what we could do about your sleep. Now, you said you're doing all the things to try to improve your sleep.
Yeah, and I do it all right, to the point that I've been chasing it for years, literally. And I'm trying to sit in a different energy with it and reaching out. So again, I'm a functional medicine health coach. So I have like all these clinicians that I can work with, and I'm supplemented beautifully. I'm on the right herbs. My nutrition is dialed in. Now, I did screw up. I did not eat enough protein last year, and I'm super aware of that, which was working against my goals. That said, you do get less hungry as you get older. It's just crazy. So eating 100 grams of protein or 110 grams of protein, that's a lot. So I'm even supplementing essential amino acids to fill in, right? Like, I have all the tools available with nutrition. I have all the tools available with sleep. And I'm still feeling like so many people out there like me feel.
EJ, have you tried like biphasic sleeping or trying to make up for it a little bit in the middle of the day?
Yes,
with naps?
I just get into that. It's a great question. I just shifted into that a couple of months ago, because I thought I cannot keep trying for this when it's just not possible. And I've been chasing it for so long. So yeah, I have been doing that. I have been trying to roll with my own rhythms more. It's really hard when you have a teenager, right? Like,
oh, geez.
I mean, you guys all have littler kids. I think, wait, one of you has an older kid too, right?
I have two teenagers, so
Okay.
Yeah.
So like, my body wants to sleep from 9 until 4. That's happy. Like, that's great. You can't do that. That doesn't work with kids. So my sleep has really been off since I had kids, and my oldest is almost 15 years old. I am trying to figure out a way to, I've just pushed it, and I've pushed it with hormones. I've pushed it with melatonin and a sleep specialist. I've really,
So
I've done all the.
This is interesting. So there's some evidence, and this is more, and I've seen some articles. This is a lot of speculation, but there's some evidence that biphasic sleeping, right? So what am I referring to? Sleeping the majority of your hours at night, but then you get naps in the day, and that's where you get your cumulative kind of sleep. There's some evidence that becomes more appropriate as we age, especially for women. So there's some theories around why women go through menopause at all, because men can stay basically fertile, essentially, right? Theoretically, till the day we die. Women at some point stop being able to have children. And so scientists have tried to come up with reasons as to why. Like, why is that? What's going on? And the best theories are that the role of the grandmother is very important in society and tribes, and her ability to wake up in the middle of the night. By the way, this happens to women when they have kids too, before they go through menopause. Anybody who's had a child will know, women will tell you, they don't sleep like they used to at night, and this is a natural thing. They need to be on high alert. They need to be able to hear almost anything, because a crying kid in the middle of the night is a dinner bell for predators.
Yep.
So the biphasic sleeping probably applies more to women, and probably applies especially to women who have gone through menopause or perimenopause. So if possible at all, could you find a time in the middle of the day where you can do like an hour nap? Because that might be it. That might be what you need.
I try. First of all, I need to get a pod in the back of my house that I can just go to and sleep in. Like, and I'm not even kidding anymore. Yeah. Like that's like some soundproof pod. My family teases me about it. That would be ideal. That said, when I watch my sleep when I'm napping, because I do try to pay attention with devices, it's still just light sleep, and it does help. I'm not going to say it doesn't help. It helps. But and my REM and my deep sleep isn't terrible, right? As long as I go to bed early enough.
Yeah.
I might be looking for too much out of that nap, right? Like, I feel like I might be looking for too much.
Yeah, your expectations are high on that.
Yeah, and also, depending on how consistently you do it, there's some evidence that shows that the more consistently you do it, the better your body gets at getting into or reaping benefits from those naps. The other thing I want to ask you, and you probably know this, you've worked with functional medicine practitioners and you've got lots of experience with, you avoid all stimulants, right? Or do you take caffeine still?
So the only thing that I do in the morning is I am pretty attached to my jasmine green tea.
Okay.
Oh, that's
and when I say in the morning, it's usually at 6 a.m. I do have about 12 ounces, and I am a slow caffeine metabolizer. I've had all the DNA done too. So I feel like I have given up alcohol. I've given up everything, you know what I mean? And so that is
EJ, try getting okay. So I feel you. Okay.
You really think that
yes,
that little bit?
Yes, because she's a slow caffeine metabolizer too.
I am, and I know that. I've seen it on paper.
That means that the half-life. So for people to understand that means the half-life of caffeine for her
double for her
is longer. So it's going to stretch out and still be somewhat active in her system when she's trying to nap.
Okay.
For example, might not affect the night sleep.
Is it's going to affect the nap. I don't think it affects my nighttime as much, but if I do really, and you're right, that's I never even thought about it in that way. I need to pay attention to it with like what's left, right?
So Lisa, I do want to circle back on something that you already said, and the consistency around a higher protein diet while you're strength, especially someone who's built as much muscle as you have in the past, that could be part of the missing piece of why you're not getting it back as fast as you want, is if you're inconsistently hitting those protein intakes, that can make a big difference. And I know you already said you know.
Dialed in now. I have been, and I'm a tracker. I've been tracking food for years. Honestly, I did for a year and a half. I shouldn't say I played. I was in ketosis, but in a very Mediterranean style, vegetable heavy, but not enough protein. I could only max out at about 78 grams. And obviously I was working against myself. The reason I did it though, is because I felt like I couldn't educate anyone else about it if I hadn't experimented with it.
Yeah.
And let me tell you, it works for satiety for women who are hungry. Man, it works.
Yeah, we talk about that. Okay.
But I need 100. I'm shooting for 110. I try to get about 90 grams of animal protein.
Yeah.
And then I will supplement with some great essential amino acids, and I do eat plant protein obviously too, but I don't really count it per se, trying to hit that 90 to 100 of animal. Is that the right choice?
Yeah, I love that.
I would look, there's a few things I would try, and I think that these might make the biggest difference. One is, and I know this is going to suck, but I would eliminate caffeine in the morning. So you could try caffeine-free green tea. Because there's also the ritual of drinking, the green tea in the morning.
That is it.
So I would eliminate caffeine. If you find that you still need a little bit of, something, you could try rhodiola. For some people,
I do take that every morning. And I know combined with the caffeine, that's definitely affecting the naps, right? Because rhodiola is activating. So if I could do that but dump the caffeine and
yes. So I would do that first. Then the second thing I would do is I would try to go into bulk. Mm-hmm. And because that, especially in women,
I did do that.
Okay.
I did that for about 4 months. I pushed my calories when I was keto though. So it was a bulk at a max of 78 grams of protein.
Not the same. So the carbohydrates, especially in women, a lack of carbohydrates can cause changes in catecholamines and neurotransmitters like serotonin, which, a little bit of an imbalance there can cause sleep issues as well. So
acetone looks really good to me right now. I'm not going to lie.
So I would try no caffeine. I would try a bulk with carbohydrates. You don't have to go crazy, but you don't go keto.
Yeah, but what does that mean to you? I usually am only at about 30 or 40 grams.
Oh yeah, double it, at least double or triple it. So what are your?
I don't even know how to eat that much food anymore. There is that. I have hit that point. And I will stand at the counter and think I literally cannot put any more food in my mouth.
EJ, this is when hyper palatable type foods can become valuable. Now, I'm not necessarily telling you to eat garbage.
I hear you. I never eat those.
yeah. So I'm not necessarily saying eat garbage, but now this is when you could start to play with foods that you're like, ooh, this tastes really good. I like the way that this, like I wouldn't recommend this to most people, but like fruit juice is an okay way to add
a whole banana maybe, or
there you go.
Yeah.
There you go. You can make yourself a smoothie. So I would play with some hyper palatable foods. I would go into a surplus. I would eliminate caffeine and then see what happens with that nap in the middle of the day.
Have you ever done a stint of powerlifting, like a longer extended amounts of rest periods?
If you call that few years that I felt like garbage, that maybe so. I was working out, and I'm definitely not a person I'm not into cardio. I don't work to increase my cortisol at all. I literally try to stay as parasympathetic as I can, even with workouts. That said, I played around with that. I do right now even have to take 2 days off at a time. What are you saying in terms of rest period? Are you saying weeks?
Oh, no, I'm talking about within the workout.
He means between sets.
Yeah, between sets.
No, I don't.
And really trying to maximize your intensity of the lifts in terms of like the load is concerned. And I know, like, I like you doing Mass 15 because of the maintenance right now and like your phase of life and everything. And I think that makes sense. But in terms of stressing the system and creating something where you're focused on more like optimizing muscle gain and like to Sal's bulk and all that and pairing the two together, might just a stint of that, like a month, 2 months of it might
moderate intensity, low reps would be a break for your body. If you're doing the 8 to 12.
Same rest periods then in between sets.
Yeah,
like
that's
3
what he's talking about. Yeah, 3 minutes.
3 minutes, like longer. Yeah.
All right.
Like a minute.
Yeah.
All right, I could definitely do that. That'll take a little bit of self-control practice to do it, but I can definitely do that.
That's good though. If you say that's a good sign that Justin's on hitting the right direction. If you say that would take a lot of self-control, which means you probably don't ever really train in the 3-minute rest period. So there's some value there for you. Yeah. There's some value there. Yeah. I like that.
I know it's hard because at this phase, it's like you got to like really like consider so many different things to tighten and screw because you've had so much experience.
EJ, I have some experience with what you're talking about where I couldn't figure out what the hell was wrong with my sleep, and I did everything and I couldn't figure it out. For me, it was simply I was doing too much volume on my workouts, and I didn't realize that had that big of an impact. I dropped the volume, my sleep got greater. This may be something simple like the 30, 40 milligrams of caffeine you have in the morning. I mean, it could be that. It could be that simple. So I feel like there's something that you just haven't done yet
Starting
that is going to that'll make the biggest impact.
Should I work out before the nap, after the nap? Do you think that makes a difference?
Yes, but if it's too close, if it's before the nap, too close to the nap, you're not going to be able to sleep. So if it's like you work out and then you go 30 minutes, an hour later, you want to go take a nap, you might not be able to.
I mean, I would recommend playing with that. Like, I mean, we can have some general advice for you, but I think there's going to be enough of a variance, with the individual on how they would feel. I don't think personally, if I know I'm going to try and do a nap at noon or 1, I can't train in the morning. That's got to be, because if I lift after 3 o'clock in the afternoon, it affects my workout or my nighttime sleep. So I have to have
most people.
Yeah, I have to have a pretty big break there. So I mean, play with it. Go do some with before and do some after and see how you feel.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. I appreciate that. I felt like I'm glad you guys said that you think MAPS 15, and I am doing I played around with the first one, but I have stuck with the advanced. That seemed the closest to me to a workout for someone like me. And I've even kind of recommended that to people. So I appreciate the feedback you're giving me.
That's a great choice.
Let's put her in the forum. If you're not in our forum, I'd love to have you in there, EJ. I'd like to follow up and see what's going, see how you feel.
I'm not, I can do that.
All right. We're going to put you in.
Offer for so many people like me that are floundering.
I'm sorry.
I feel like there's a lot for me to even offer other people in something like that are floundering like I am.
This is selfish. I want you in the forum because I think you're going to benefit the other members in there.
Yeah, exactly.
I also want to hear how you do, but I think you'd be a valuable ad for sure.
Yeah. I appreciate
you're
that.
hard on yourself.
Yeah, you're doing great, by the way.
Thank you.
I feel like I am. It's been a tough road letting go of who I was and inviting in who I am and trying to find like where I am in that process.
You just need a couple young, handsome guys to pump your tires a little bit. That's all. So
it's funny because I was thinking about you, and you have wives that are not where I am yet. So this is going to be helpful even for them when your wives end up here.
Yeah.
It's a lot. We carry these kids, we grow these kids,
we
have kids, and then here we are and it's a lot.
Yep.
For
no,
sure.
100%.
Yep.
Yeah. Thanks for calling in.
I appreciate you all. Thank you.
got it.
Alrighty,
Thank
Jen.
you.
Thank you.
Take care.
That has to be the
Hardest clients. Hardest clients.
Look at us trying to figure that out.
if there was ever
because it's like, are you doing this? Yes. Are you doing that? Yes.
Yeah.
Are you doing this? Yeah.
Probably-
I honestly, I'm gonna tell you guys right now. I will bet this, and I hope she follows up with us, that a bulk with some carbs and eliminate caffeine will make a huge impact.
Yeah, there was a few things that I caught there.
Yeah.
One, she knew that she underconsumed protein. Okay, so and if you're trying to get back the muscle that you had at your peak and in your 50s, and you're already fighting against hormones, I find that that's going to be crucial.
Right.
That she stays that consistently. The fact that she did make the point when Justin mentioned the long rest periods of 3 minutes, she was like, "Oh, wow." She made a big deal that was going to take a lot of mental, which signals to me that she moves kind of quick through her workouts. If that's going to require discipline. So there's definitely value there. And then your point about bulking and the cutting. I mean, there's some stuff there. Even though she's checking a lot of the boxes. I mean, that was the part that was so hard as a coach and trainer with a client like this that I'd get lost sometimes. I feel like we were doing a lot of the right things and just not.
And you know what happens? What's common with somebody who's a fitness fanatic? The place that they refuse to look at, or the place that they really don't want to look at, is usually where the answer is. Yeah. And you can see when she talked about her green tea in the morning, like, this is the last thing that the
very last thing. Yeah.
Well, you hit it too, because she knows she's tested for it and she's seen it. You know? So she's not unaware. No,
and I've seen it make a huge difference. I don't think I'm a slow metabolizer of caffeine, but I definitely metabolize slower than, let's say, like you guys. And I take my caffeine early in the morning too, and I see a difference when it's above like 250 milligrams for my night sleep. So I wouldn't be surprised if that had a big impact.